Roland Willits, Old Men's Stories with Howard Swan from Winnipeg, Canada. Roland Willits, Old Men's Stories. I'm here with Howard Swan. And he's from Manitoba, Winnipeg, right?
Right, Winnipeg, Manitoba, yeah.
And it's
I'm sorry?
You can say
Yeah, I say
They don't do that as much up in Manitoba as they do in other parts of Canada.
Okay. No. But it is. You hear it the odd time. Make a joke of it.
Yep. And he comes for a lot of my Boucher relatives are headed to up there, and he's been around for 92 years. I am absolutely impressed. Yeah, wow. Well, when you get up there, you come down and to our cabin. We have a cabin on Lake Lucy, Detroit Lakes.
Oh, yeah.
And you can ride on the Sea-Doo. My ma rode on the Sea-Doo in 92 when she was 92.
Is that right? Eh?
So it'd be this summer, yeah. But we're right there, and if you're heading by there on the way back there or coming back, and you just give a jingle and come in and stay for a day. It's almost that day's drive from Winnipeg to
That's
there.
right, yeah. Just about a day's drive, yeah.
Yep. And we have extra rooms. So
Great.
we'd love to see you when you come.
Well, that sounds great to me.
Tell me a little, 92 years. So you were saying you were in Vaudeville, the ending part up there in Canada.
Yes, yeah. Just say, the tail end of Vaudeville, like it was a sort of disappearing then, but there was still, in Winnipeg, there was two vaudeville shows that were running all the time, and one part-time theater there that had vaudeville, but just intermittently. But yes, the Beacon Theater and the Orpheum, and the headliners there used to always would come from the States, and Minneapolis and the different states down here. They'd be the feature acts. And I was with my brother, and he just said one day, we're going to start a little trio. We're going to call it the Haymakers. Dressed up in overalls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he played a banjo ukulele, and he had a very distinct style of roll on that ukulele, and people just they got quite a kick out of watching him playing that. And then so we dressed up in these overalls, and we had a violin player, and actually a classically trained violin player, but he was of Scotch extraction, and I guess his parents had got him to learn all the different reels and old-time numbers, So that's what we sort of based it on. It was these old-time songs that he would play on the fiddle, and he was very, very proficient on the on the violin, and very fast. And my brother Johnny would be playing with a banjo, and then of course he'd stop and scratch his leg or something, and then just come right back in time again, or lift his leg and scratch his other leg, and but anyway, that's and it just seemed to work. We had quite a long run on the vaudeville shows there.
Oh wow!
Yeah. The Haymakers.
Where was this back in the?
This would be back in the late 30s. Actually, it was the year the.
Okay, let me interrupt you a second. Behind us, we have almost a tornado winds outside. So
Ah,
you're going to have to hear us above the winds. We were outside. We tried to video it, and we were chased inside. So just live with it, and we'll live with you. And tell me more about Keep Going here.
yeah. Yeah, well,
It was in the
when I
what
started,
year?
it was late 1938, I think, was when we formed this trio, just a year before the Second World War
Oh, wow.
broke out, like for Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went into the service. Well, I didn't get into the service until late 1942.
Oh, okay.
That that was a story in itself too. Like I went to join up, and first doctor I got, he said, "No, you're too far underweight." I weighed 116 pounds,
Wow.
and so I went back, and I was working in a flour mill at that time, and I worked for another year, but it was in the hot grinding floors, and I guess, well, I didn't gain any more weight, but I thought, well, I'll try it again. But I got the same doctor, so I got rejected. I went back a year later, got a different doctor, and I got in.
Yeah, back in World War II, you didn't go to Canada to avoid the draft.
No, no. Well, as I say, it took me 3 years to get in, and 3.5 to get out. Yeah, so I went into the RCAF. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the Air Force, air version of the.
Yeah, but I was like Ron Crew. I was in the medical field. That's where I
Okay, you're in the medical.
started. Yeah.
Okay, and what type planes did they fly then?
Then they were. Well, they had the old, I think it was the Anson was that first bomber that they had, and then there was Harvards, I think, and of course the Tiger Moths they were using for training, and then the fighter planes, Mustangs that they had, yeah, and then the Mosquitoes, I think. There's a good friend of mine that was a pilot. Mosquitoes. That was the one. I think it was made of plywood.
It wasn't much of a plane, but it flew.
Well,
it survived.
It flew.
And
Yeah.
It flew and it survived, and it was an awesome weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you meet your wife? You meet your wife right about that time?
Yes, yeah. I met her at the Beacon Theater reading.
Oh, at the
first, yeah, and we met there, and I must met her, I guess, in 1940, and we were married in 1944. Yeah, January 29th, 1944. We were married for just almost 65 years.
Wow.
Yeah, just 3 weeks short of 65 years, and she passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was a very, very wonderful marriage on my part, anyway. I don't know how he's.
She made it 65 years, and yep. And she was still straightening out your shirt at the end. I know that.
Yes.
So it
right.
sounds to me, Terry says she's happy and she straightens out shirts, so it must be.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I was the one that looked up that marriage. So.
Did she do any acting?
Well, yeah, she was a tap dancer. Yeah.
Oh, she was a tap. I saw the pictures there.
Yeah. She was her and her partner was Bernice Nesbitt.
Oh, okay.
And they were a dancing duo. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then she danced for a few years after we were married, and she had had the children to look after.
Yeah, that sort of puts them at home a lot.
Yeah. But
They can get away with it.
Yeah, but she always enjoyed dancing, and she got her wish. Like we never had a daughter, but our granddaughter is a dancer, and she has a dancing school right now.
Wow.
In Winnipeg, yeah.
That is just spectacular. I bet that just tickled the heck out of your wife.
Yeah. She did, yeah. And they're quite successful in their dance studio that they have. And her husband, Peter Huck, he done all the artwork on that CD.
Oh, he did great work.
Yeah, the photography, yeah. Great couple.
Oh, that sounds cool. And tell me more about, did you two ever play together? Did you ever play the music for her or dancing?
For Hazel?
Yeah.
No, not really. No, they always had a pianist that they'd had for years that played all their numbers for their tap routines. And then when they were on the Beacon, of course, the Beacon Orchestra.
Right.
Like they had a pit orchestra.
And
Yeah, and they would play their routines for them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
And then you raised your kids in Winnipeg.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And did you live there all year long, or you didn't start traveling down here to Arizona until?
Oh no, till after I was just about a year before I was retired.
Retired.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So that was 20 some years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's cool. But so you spent the gruesome winters up in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that gets cold quicker and lasts longer.
Yes. Yeah. And especially this last one has been a real cool one, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But of course, it's been cool all over, Canada. It's everywhere. From all the provinces that you talk to, it's all been the same.
That's
it's been much
right.
colder.
That's right.
Colder winter than usual.
Canada, we sit and whine a little about the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and I always looked up at Winnipeg and I said, I always thought the end of the earth ended at the Canadian border.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's like I drove on. I did a lot of work in the winters in the cold, and I looked and I said, "They're Eskimos above the border."
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are surprised, when. I think I remember. This is years and years ago. But it might be just a story, but I'd heard that this couple had come up from somewhere in the States, and they went in the parking lot around I think the apartment buildings, and there was they had outlets there for your car heaters, and these folks thought, that's nice of them, cause I guess they had a little trailer or something,
Right.
That they have these services that they could plug in their trailers for their utilities.
They got away with it for a little while. Huh?
Yeah.
You could run a space heater on it.
Pardon?
You could run a space heater on those little heaters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were mostly designed just for a heater for the block.
Yeah.
You take that.
Oh yeah.
We'll put that right here.
Yeah.
So what did you do for a living?
After I got out of the service, I went into the Veterans Hospital, and I was an electroencephalograph technologist.
Wow.
That's recording brainwaves.
Brainwaves, yeah.
It was like a diagnostic tool.
Way back in the 50s.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know they had them that far back.
Oh God, yeah. Well, back then they were the first first machine that I had was it was all pretty well battery run, like for the preamplifier sections.
Right.
Just had batteries. But then they gradually advanced and then become all transistorized.
Right.
My first machine was a 4-channel, and then I ordered extra amplifiers, and we made it into a 6-channel, and that was still the tube type that they call it. And
I know the tube type. I was I'm a few years younger than you, but I remember that.
Yeah. And then of course the transistors come in, and the EEG, the machines evolved being transistorized from
Right.
that. So then I ended up with a 16-channel machine.
Wow.
Yeah. And, it was just the important thing with the EEGs was like as a diagnostic tool for the epilepsies.
Right.
It was quite helpful in diagnosing the different types of
Okay.
epilepsies.
Yeah, because you work with. One thing about those technicians is you work with people all around the world and learning about them, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
But they don't close borders when it comes to things like that and spreading the information.
No.
And what did you ever diagnose anything, or were you just the engineer?
Well, yeah. Well, like I would take the tracing, and then I had a neurologist to like interpret the tracings.
Did you? Yeah, but you worked as a team with him.
Well, yeah.
So you'd sit and show him, because after you sit and watch him a while, you pretty much know what he's looking for, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. But I mean, his was the final word on that. Like
Right.
And, yeah.
They make the big bucks.
Yeah. And then the one time, it was quite a shock to me, but we had this. It was a military chap that came in, and with this head injury, and he had what had happened. He helped a friend do one of these high school dances at a community club.
Right.
And of course, there was some liquor involved. And then a scuffle broke out in this dance, because those drew big crowds. And anyway, he, that was his job, that he was helping his friend out with, was more or less security and looking after
Right.
him. So he went in to stop the scuffle, and he got hit in the head with a beer bottle.
Oh.
And anyway, they come to Deer Lodge Hospital, and then they brought him down for me to do this EEG. And I got this horrible looking stuff in the left frontal lobe, I think it was, yeah. And it looked what they called like an artifact, like something that's not really belonging to the brain,
Right.
just something that an electrode was out of place or something like
Right.
that. Well, we checked all that, and that wasn't the case at all. And then we took him off it, and then I redone the test again, and this stuff was there, And so I finished up the tracing, and I took it up. My neurologist, he used to come in
Right.
twice a week to read, and so I took this up to him, and I told him, I said, I cannot get rid of this. I said, I tried everything. Like I treated it as an artifact, and I just cannot get rid of it. So he said, "Oh, okay, Howard." Then he wrote across it, "Technician says this is not artifact." uh, the so the surgeons went in, and Campbell and Dr. Campbell, oh gosh, Campbell and somebody else. Anyway, they were a surgical team, but this Dr. Campbell had come down about 3 or 4 days later, and he said, "You were right." He said, "That wasn't artifact. You know, it was a subdural hematoma, but what it was, he had been hit on the back of the head,
Right.
with that beer bottle, and." But it was called what they call a contact injury, like the brain is, is sitting
it's
in
floating,
fluid,
yeah.
floating, and that and it hit the frontal lobe.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but you know, when he wrote that across there, I thought, holy mackerel! But as it happened, Dr. Campbell came. Yeah, he'd been nice enough to come down and say that. Yeah. That's what it was.
Did the guy come out of it?
Oh yes, yeah, and you know, while he was in such pain, and I
Right.
just felt so badly for him. But yeah, he came out of it, and it was fine. Yeah, they just
Oh,
obviously
cool.
got in there and took the pressure off it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and,
So you're 92 and you're still playing in jams here.
yeah.
So you've been playing in jams all your life.
Well, not jams, like playing with different bands,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I had was on different radio shows. I had on the CBC. I
Oh,
was
okay.
on what they call the Red River Barn Dance. I think it was then for about a year. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I'm doing vocals on that.
Yeah, Red River runs real close to us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
2 Red Rivers. We have one Red River down in Texas that runs close to us.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I got Red River North and Red River South.
Yeah.
So, yeah, remember the Red River Valley came from right up in that area, didn't it?
Yes.
The song
Yeah.
came
yeah,
from Canada.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And do you have any famous musicians that made it in the States that were around you?
I'm sorry. What?
Any famous
Oh.
singers in your area that made it south of the border?
Oh.
Down the United
yeah.
States way.
Yeah, Aubrey Tabman.
Oh, yeah.
Singer, yeah, and then Lenny Bro, guitarist.
Right.
He was a Chet Atkins protege, really, but then
Wow.
him and his family moved to Winnipeg. His family, like they had an act called the Lone Pine Junior, I think it was called. But Lenny Bro, he was just a young kid at that time, but he was a beautiful guitarist.
Wow.
Then he ended up as a really well-known jazz guitarist.
Right.
But then he lost his life in Los Angeles. He got involved in some drugs and
Yeah,
things.
that happens.
Yeah.
It's
That
hard.
was a
It's
tragic.
hard to avoid it when you're a musician.
Yeah, but yeah. Well,
That's it.
I
That's
don't-
that.
well,
It's like that is a hard. That's one thing. That's the musician's curse.
yeah.
It's a toughie. It's
Well,
a
I know-
toughie to stay when you're sitting out there and everyone's partying.
Yeah.
And your position, if you want to make it in life, is not to party.
Well, that's right. Well, I know when I was on the CBC, I used to die 1,000 deaths because, like, I was used to playing guitar, and for myself, and doing my vocals and that. But then on there, it was like a studio orchestra,
Right.
and they all were reading charts, you
Right.
know? And I wasn't that experienced, and I just used to die 1,000 deaths on that program, and finally one of the violinists, he'd say, well, why don't you take a shot of scotch or a liquor, and of course I've never drank in all my life,
Right.
and I still don't. But I have nothing against it. I'm not a prude or anything else. I like to see people have a good time. But anyway, I thought, you know, and at that time, I think I was getting $60 for 3 songs.
Right.
For on this broadcast every week. But you know, I thought, no, you know, if I've got to take something that, you know, to lean on like that, I said, you know.
That takes me away from it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
that's powerful.
So I just suffered
That's a
through
powerful statement.
Yeah, I suffered through it and got myself an ulcer.
Well, apparently ulcers weren't that bad for you. You're 92. You made you handled them.
Yeah, I
somehow.
finally had surgery in 1969 on it. And I never looked back from then. You know, I used to, you know, have a lot of discomfort with it, but.
And you decided to calm down, not get any more.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah.
Hey, enough of this stuff.
Yeah.
A calm me is a happy me.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But,
So.
yeah. Well, I say, you know, I got a lot to be thankful for.
Okay.
I've had a good life, and I count my blessings. I'll tell you.
That's wonderful. We're going to end and say, you say, Howard Swan, OMS Stories. Look right at the camera.
Oh. Howard Swan, and this is Old Man Stories.
Roland Willits, OMS Stories. Thank you.
Old Men Stories. Give me one more.
Please believe me when I say
In balmy Arizona and not Winnipeg.